Howdy, Legendary Void here, and today we're doing a deck tech on a deck that I have named Bravery is Key. I don't know if this deck actually had a name whenever I found it. I found it on Wreck and Rule's channel. I believe they played this deck only one time, but ever since I saw it, I wanted to play it for a long time, so I've been working to get the cards necessary for it, and today, here it is. I have compiled it together. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. The first card is called RC. Now her alt mode isn't exactly the most important part. It's her bot mode side. 1 attack, 9 health, 1 defense. She's a specialist, so she does have access to that. But she has pierce equal to her attack, and that's pretty much what we're going to be focusing the deck around. Now naturally, she's got 1 base attack, so typically she'll get pierce 3 since this is an orange deck. So she'll be having about Pierce 3, assuming she flips 2 oranges for her normal 2 flips in the battle. But we are also, and it is raining outside. So if you hear some mumbling, it is thunder. There's not really too much I can do about that. I needed to record today anyway. But our next card is Thrust. Now, he has this fantastic ability in his alt mode that when one of your other characters attacks, you can tap him, and then if you do, he gives his attack to the character that's attacking. So for example, if I went in with RC, I could tap Thrust. Now she has 4 base attack, therefore giving her Pierce 4, plus whatever oranges she flips, and you can tell that will stack. So the deck is essentially made to promote that as much as you possibly can, while keeping the 2 of those guys alive. And now there is 11 stars remaining due to the 14 here, so 9 plus 5 is in fact 14. That gives you 11 more spaces, but you might be asking yourself, Caleb, what the heck do you mean my bravery is key? Well, Blitzwing. In his alt mode, he is Brave. He's a 313 2. So, and he is also tank and ranged. But essentially what you're going to be doing with this deck is having Blitzwing in his alt 1 mode as often as you possibly can to have your opponent only be able to attack Blitzwing while your RC and Thrust are able to spam as much Pierce as possible to one-shot people pretty quickly and regularly if you can help it. But yeah, Blitzwing is literally just there for the Brave. He's a pretty decent attacker in his other modes if you really need to flip him there. You don't really have to, but you definitely can. But he's mainly there just for his Brave, and that's pretty much where you want to keep him the entire game. And yeah, that's all the characters, and we have a whole bunch of cards to go over to buff these guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first action we're playing is 2 copies of Steamroll. Now, sometimes whenever you tap RC, you're probably going to be doing more damage than is absolutely necessary, and it might feel like a waste, just because you need to hit 1 more damage to kill someone, right? So you'll have some extra from Thrust tap, but Steamroll essentially lets you move that extra damage over to someone else. So if you did 5 damage to a character with 1 health left, that 4 extra damage goes to another character for your opponent's choice. It doesn't have any pips, that's why we're only running 2 instead of the 3. But it is a fantastic card to play in a deck like this, where you can guarantee damage. We also play 3 copies of Ramming Speed. This is to help get around your opponent's ways to absolutely destroy Blitzwing, such as grenade launchers, erratic lightnings. You want to keep Blitzwing alive as long as possible. Ramming Speed helps get rid of the weapons on your opponent's side of the field. And again, helps you get around things like force fields so your Pierce can still stay really high. We're also playing 2 copies of Treasure Hunt. This card is absolutely essential to a deck like this. You need to be getting grenade launchers as often as you possibly can to put them on Thrust to give him a base 7 attack, giving RC 8 attack when you tap him. Pierce 8 is absolutely nothing to scoff at, so of course you're going to be trying to get Treasure Hunts to get more of them weapons that give more attack to Thrust. And we play 3 copies of Supercharge. This gives Bolt 3 to one of your characters, preferably RC, because you'll never want to attack with Thrust unless you have to. And Blitzwing isn't usually going to be your main attacker, so if you can give this to RC and just boost your attack even more, it gets crazy sometimes, so that's why we're running 3 of those. We're also playing 2 copies of Reckless Charge. Give one of your characters 4 attack until the end of your turn. and at the end of the turn, deal 3 damage to it. We're only playing 2 copies of this because you couldn't exactly play 3 of these on RC in one game because she'd be dead at that point. But we're playing 2 of these because it gives +4 attack and +4 pierce is definitely fantastic, especially with RC. But the 3 damage isn't exactly the greatest, which is why we're only running 2 instead of the 3. We're also running 2 copies of Peace Through Tyranny. This is just for the double orange. You want to give as much attack to RC as possible so she can essentially one-shot everybody she attacks into. But yeah, definitely really good. Never going to play it for its effect. But yeah, the double orange, really good for this. We also play 3 copies of Leap into Battle. This is a blue pip, but it gives 3 attack to one of your characters, 1 less than Reckless Charge, but they don't take any damage. The blue pip's okay, I guess, when defending with Blitzwing, but it can hurt your output of damage, but this is just one of a very few amount of blues in the deck. So I think it's definitely worth it. And then the last action we were playing, 3 copies of Work Overtime. Since you'll be spamming so many cards from your hand all the time, you're going to be wanting to refill your hand as much as possible so you can draw into those very essential weapons and other action cards. So we're going to be trying to draw as much as possible, so 3 Work Overtime fits perfectly. Plus there's not too much white in this deck, so Work Overtime does kind of fit cleanly in that regard as well. On to the weapons. So naturally, our first weapon is going to be 3 copies of Grenade Launcher, +4 attack after they attack. Scrap this card. This works perfectly with Thrust because technically he's not attacking, he's just tapping. Therefore, the Grenade Launcher does not go away and he keeps the base 7 attack that is passing on to RC. So of course we're going to be trying to play as much cards that can boost this attack as possible. Which is why we're also running 3 copies of Erratic Lightning. These are just in case you can't get any grenade launchers onto Thrust, or if you just need to get an extra boost on RC for more Pierce. But yeah, we're playing 3 of both of those because the extra attack works in every single instance, every time. So we're also playing 1 copy of Scoundrel's Blaster. This is one more of the blue cards we're playing. We only play 1 of these just in case you need to actually kill someone with Blitzwing or Thrust if they kill RC in the early game. So Pierce is definitely necessary. The +2 attack is absolutely great for an offensive deck, but we're only playing 1 of them because we really don't need to play any more than that. And the last weapon we're playing is a copy of Mining Pick. This just gives a lot more attack to RC if you really want to play it on her. It lets you plan to getting rid of those double oranges from your hand that you can't really play. And it's a great way just to give even more attack to RC's ridiculous Pierce amounts. Onto the armors. The first one, of course, we're playing is 3 copies of Improvised Shield. Just for the double oranges, the tough one is almost never necessary. You could definitely play it on Blitzwing to increase his likelihood that it'll actually flip a blue on defense. But yeah, it's probably never going to be used for that unless it's a win or lose instant. But we also play 2 copies of Bashing Shield. When you put this on a character, scrap an enemy armor. Help us bypass things like Force Field or just anything that blocks Pierce. There's actually a new card in Wave 3, I think that was actually revealed today by Madifer. Shoutouts to him. I believe it reduces Pierce on a character by 2. I don't know if that's a utility in armor, to be perfectly honest, right off the top of my head. But if it is an armor, Bashing Shield really helps to block that, because, you know, Pierce is really important to a deck like this, so. And then our last armor is 3 copies of Force Field. We want to keep our guys for alive as long as possible, especially Blitzwing. So Force Field helps you to essentially prevent more damage than they can pump out. But yeah, that's all the armors. So let's get on to the couple of utilities that we play. We play 4 utilities. Each one is different. We play Data Bank. At the start of your turn, draw a card. We only play 1. It's really just to help draw into more grenade launchers. We really don't need more than just the 1. I couldn't really find an extra space for them. We also play 1 copy of Data Pad, also to help draw and get rid of those oranges from out of your hand. We play 1 copy of Field Communicator, just because we run 1 specialist in RC. Let you play a card off the top of your deck, so really good in that way. You might be able to replace these 2 with a Field Communicator if you feel like running 3, because I guess you could replace it. Play it on RC. If you want to, I guess you could do that. That might be a good idea. I could probably test it after that, but anyway. I guess that's why we do these deck techs, because, you know, I get ideas while I'm talking about them here. We also play one copy of Debilitating Crystal. That's another card you could replace for a Field Communicator. I like Debilitating Crystal a lot right now because it helps you get rid of important weapons from your opponent's side of the field. So essentially they can have to reattach it during their next turn instead of playing another card that could help them win. It's just a good way to disrupt your opponent's side of the field. And yeah, that's all the cards in the deck. But yeah, I've done a little bit of testing with this deck. It's fantastic. I love playing it. The amount of Pierce you can get up to with RC is just absolutely insane. Combined with Thrust and Blitzwing, it's fantastic. I love the combination, and I thank Wreck and Roll for coming up with it, because I definitely could not have thought up this combination here. But I really love playing this, and I have deemed it Bravery is Key, because that seems to be a phrase going around. Not the Bravery is Key, the is key thing. You know what? I'm gonna just do my outro, okay? Just stop judging me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, I'm gonna whack that like and subscribe button. Give me some suggestions in the comments below. I do want to make this deck the best it can be. So if you have any ideas about what I can play, put it down there. I'll definitely read it and respond back. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Have a phenomenal day. Peace.